Hey there, it's Rick Khan from ZillaClick.com, and in just a minute you're going to discover the top way of targeting on Facebook ads, especially now that we're moving towards a new future of advertising on Facebook, where specifically you'll know if you should focus on this way of targeting, where I'm talking about open targeting, because as platforms such as TikTok, it seems to be becoming more of a popular choice for advertisers, and even algorithms across other platforms seem to be advancing in different ways. And Mark Zuckerberg himself admitted he failed to anticipate the way people share videos on social, and he missed the trend of AI. Therefore, things with Facebook's algorithms, they're taking a big turn where they're seriously working on pushing ahead of its competitors, because Facebook isn't going anywhere as they work their machine learning to the next level. But they're also doing it in a way that most advertisers might not understand, because even though their usage is up and a lot of advertisers are moving to other platforms, this makes it cheaper for us to take advantage of. But again, since Meta, Facebook, or whatever you want to call it these days, has been under fire over their use of data, and this affects us marketers with targeting. So the future for advertisers will look very different to what you might see right now as opposed in the next years to come. Because as targeting on Facebook is getting narrower, and having that edge over your competitors with targeting seems to be making a big turn. So this video will help you prepare for the future of advertising and how you can take advantage of Facebook's best targeting right now. And here's the thing, the quicker you start figuring this out, the quicker you'll be able to use this way of targeting to stay ahead of advertising on Facebook. So with that said, what is open targeting? Open targeting is when you leave audience targeting open. So you won't add anything in custom audience, the detailed targeting, the age or gender, because you're going to unrestrict Facebook to let it search their entire platform for your perfect audience to target. Now, there are some areas that you shouldn't unrestrict, and it is important to add the location. You see, you need to still let the machine learning know which country you want it to search for its audience in. So with that said, let me just explain in a bit more detail about how machine learning works when you leave everything open, because there are some misconceptions from people who are new or don't know what open targeting is. Because some people think that since you're not telling Facebook who to target, it's going to give you poor quality audiences, or it's just going to waste your money since it doesn't have any direction of who your audience is. And this simply isn't true, because Facebook's ultimate goal is to make money from us advertisers. And the last thing that they want you to do is for you to waste your money, so you leave the platform and advertise elsewhere. They're going to use their sophisticated machine learning along with all the data points that they have about you and their users to target your best audience, as long as you've done a few things right, which leads to how the algorithms work. Now, unless you're one of the super geeks and you work in the secret confines of Facebook, no one truly knows how machine learning works exactly. But again, we can have a calculated theory along with lots of testing and results to give us the best data to understand how the algorithms really work, which shows us that when you write your copy, it takes all the signals you write and it uses keywords in your copy. It looks and scans your creative, and it picks up on the call to actions, even going to your landing page to understand everything you're trying to do. This is so it can begin to detect the right people to show your ads to. And this is all happening before it's been reviewed. But then once you launch it out and it's all been reviewed and everything's fine, the machine learning then gets to work to start figuring out the best audience for your offer, because it wants you to get as many conversions as possible, so you keep feeding it with more money, which means money for them. So using all of its data points, it'll put in front of a bucket of people to match your ad, your creative and headline. Then it detects all the actions from these people, how they stop the scroll, how long it takes for them to read the ad, do they go from creative to copy to the call to action, what the engagement and actions they take. See, all of these things, they start categorizing people who don't like the ad and those who love the ad and convert. And as it gathers this information, it serves your ad to more people who fit the criteria, and then they continues to rinse and repeat as the audiences get larger and larger. So with all this said, you should probably have a good idea now and a basic grasp of how the algorithm works, where the question is open targeting right for you? Now, this actually depends on a few factors, which I'll mention soon, but here's 6 reasons why you might want to consider using the open targeting, which the first reason is that Facebook is looking to get you into the most profit so you can start spending more on their platform. And if you give the control to Facebook and you let the machine learning figure it out, then they're going to be as efficient as possible to work out your best audience for conversions. The second reason is the more you unrestrict Facebook's machine learning, it helps to unlock its abilities to scan more of what it's programmed to do. And by unrestricting it, advertising for you will be cheaper than if you were to restrict its machine learning. So you should experience less cost for your CPM that you can use to put more into scaling your ads. Then the third reason to why it might be right for you is that as time goes on and targeting is getting narrowed down anyway, it's good to start learning more about how to use the open targeting so you can start getting better at creating good copy and learn to get better at strategizing your creatives, as I believe this is the most integral part of advertising now and definitely more into the future as we go into the following years. But then we have the fourth reason, which is you have more room for scale, because open targeting, it reaches out to as many people as possible. You're rarely going to burn out on open targeting fast, and it's going to take a lot longer to reach ad fatigue. So you can keep scaling your ads as you could be reaching people up to 100 million plus. Then the fifth reason is if your product or service has a very large audience and it appeals to a broader target. So let's say you're in a niche such as apparel clothing, fitness related, retailers, food and drink, money opportunities and so on. These audiences are very big and you may want to let Facebook to reach as many of them as you can. And that's exactly what open targeting is good for. Then finally, the sixth reason is you should consider how much data do you have within your ad account, because the less data that you have, the less Facebook will know about you, your product or service. And we know now that's exactly how machine learning works. It's by knowing all the different data points about your perfect customer. So if you don't have much data, then I first recommend you already have a mix of different conversions with your ad account. I recommend having at least 1,000 conversions or more. It doesn't have to be only purchases, it could be leads or even video views. So saying this, I hope you've pretty much got a good grasp on what open targeting is and if it's right for you. But I'm sure there's an important question that might come up for you right now, which is, what about interest targeting? Because so many gurus are claiming that they're barely using interests anymore and that interests are pretty much dead. So is this true? Well, maybe it is for them, but I'm personally still using interest and it's still giving me good results. And in fact, it's actually outperformed some open targeting campaigns by a large margin. And here's something to consider as well. Open targeting, it can take a lot longer than usual, and that means spending more to keep the machine learning going, which will also keep it in the learning phase for a lot longer. And for some reason, Facebook open targeting doesn't always seem to work out well with certain campaigns, which gets you lower results. But with all of this said, just a couple of things I want to leave off with, which I feel is very important for you to know, which is to at least try open targeting if you haven't already. It won't cost you much and it might be worth a lot for you in the end. And if you run with other ad sets that have specific stacked interests and broad interests, I always like to make sure I still have at least one ad set with open targeting, as I keep that as the control to test against other ad sets. Now, ad sets with interests, I do like to use a certain type of interest that's proven to work, because did you know there's a way to get Facebook to show you what your competitors are using right here? And remember, I'm always testing and I'm always keeping you informed about Facebook's advertising secrets and how to write better copy, so make sure to consider subscribing.